Take it.
Yeah, I take again. I take a new one.
I like you more than Shiva.
Does anyone have water? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
It is regrettable to see what happened in Ferguson. Too bad Black Panther never really came to kill the police officer that got off scot-free anyway, right? In Gotham City, for instance, when there's a horde of criminals running away with Batman chasing and the police appears afterwards, guess what? The police doesn't chase the hordes of criminals that is running away. They chase Batman. Because apparently Batman is the evil one here. That's the main problem that we brought to you from Proposition, right? That there's that both the superheroes and governments are fighting too hard against each other, that they detract away from the real criminals. The real criminals that really deserves to get punished gets away scot-free. There's a clear yardstick in this debate, right? Ultimately, what we want on side proposition is to change the system in which the government works with superheroes and therefore create a better society. With that yardstick in mind, two questions. One, which side better protects the individuals, specifically superheroes, better? And number two, which side protects the entire society better? So let's look at the first question, right? Over here, one main issue, the idea about sensitive information and how this suddenly compromises superheroes. And we think that's completely bollocks nature, right? What they told you is that we will use information against these superheroes. No, that is completely false. Governments have the incentive to instead protect these superheroes. Why? Oftentimes these superpowers are very rare in their nature, right? There's a very small minority of superheroes and the powers are usually inaccessible in nature. And we're going to explain how this directly leads into incentives, but before that, go.
So when the government is already so hating of Batman, you are going to give them his information so that they can arrest him immediately.
No. The only person that can give information of Batman to the government is Batman himself. Which means when he goes personally to register with him, it's an implicit idea of cooperation between Batman and the government. Because he himself is willing to give out information. In exchange for that, the government is willing to give him some level of protection or some level of cooperation with Batman, right? There's a kind of exchange that we want on our side that their side always fails to provide. No, thank you. I'm going to move back to the idea on incentive, right? Because their powers are that inaccessible, but we also realize that their powers are extremely useful against fighting some crimes, right? A lot of crimes are very difficult to go against. The police resources are finite in nature and they cannot go against things. We're talking about things such as cartels in Mexico, for instance, right? With superpowers assets, we think combating crime is going to be a lot easier on the government side, which is why they have the incentive to cooperate in the long term in the first place. Next, they told you that we compromise the identities of these individuals. No, this is what Manoj already told you, which they never wanted to deal with, right? The information in governments are usually very, very confidential in nature, and there's extremely high barriers of entry towards this information. We think this information is often more safe on our side. We think that information on both sides can be obtained, right? Like if there are really super villains that want to kill these superheroes, they will still obtain information in the first place. We don't think by registering, giving information will necessarily automatically compromise its information. More than that, right, we think that police can offer protection against for the witnesses or the family members of these individuals. Furthermore, we think that police are usually, mass in nature, right, where one superhero cannot fully protect his entire family alone. We think it's a very simple comparative debate. One superhero, many police. With many police, family protected better. Very simple. We think we take our side. We take that side. Now moving on to the next question. Which side protects the society better? Two issues here, right? The idea on governments and the idea on accountability. Let's do government first. What they told you is that governments don't care about certain minorities, and this is what Yu Hui told you about, right? That we don't care about the black people. It is true that some governments regrettably don't care about these minorities, and the only people that we can depend on is perhaps superheroes to come to do this. But the problem is this, that the government often treat these superheroes as criminals and they hinder with the activities of these criminals. What happened then is that the criminals fight out with the government and nothing actually gets done. What we think is we create a better system on our side. Why? Because we offer cooperation and where superheroes can negotiate into developing rights for minorities in certain states. norms, right? We think that therefore, even if these governments don't tender towards minorities, there's a higher chance that we move towards a less oppressive society on our side of the house, right? Furthermore, we think that if we want to enact any kind of concrete change in society, there must be some level of cooperation with these superheroes and the government. Without that, nothing will be done on their side of the house, because superheroes will be fighting above the law, above the current system, and the police and government will continue being against this system, right? And we think that if we want to create a concrete change in society, there must be a fuse of these two actors coming together to combat the kind of minority oppression that we're facing in society today. Second issue under the same question, right, on accountability. We see that in today's world, right, the reason why governments are against superheroes, for instance, is because a lot of times during their missions, because of the nature of their powers, a huge collateral damage is incurred. For instance, Avengers, New York City was basically exploded into many pieces, right? We think there's a problem there where the government then needs to go into reconstructing this infrastructure for the people, because we recognize that this infrastructure is important for day-to-day life. But we also say that if governments are able to cooperate with the police, we are then able to form the kind of partnership and accountability towards these superheroes and the actions they take. This was Manoj's argument that they never wanted to deal with. They also never dealt with Manoj's very pertinent idea on healthcare, right? On how we protect these superheroes, because we provide them healthcare, and because superheroes do need this kind of healthcare too, they don't protect it. And because our side on the yardstick create a better system, because we protect the individuals and we protect the society better, we're very proud to stand on the side of opposition.
Wow, this guy looks so manly.
Bad books.
Wow, it's not bad. Just one done.
This one the last one. Every day. Still no. After this finish, I'm taking one about the revised features.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Can you guys hear me at the back? Group can. Group can.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, awesome. Okay, three main issues I'd like to discuss with the House today. First of all, the problem that they have identified in their side. First of all, they say that the main problem that exists in this hypothetical world is a problem of cooperation. First of all, we don't think that this is exactly true, that superheroes go against the wishes of the police and the state all the time. Take Batman, for example. We think that Batman are really good buddies with Commissioner Gordon. But in cases whereby the police, the motives and the agenda of the police does not necessarily aid in the overall protection of society, we think that this kind of cooperation is ultimately counterproductive. But we're not exactly saying that they shouldn't either. Of course, they are free to do so. But in the end, we don't think that regulating them, making them register, really accomplishes anything. What it does otherwise, it is really a counterproductive. It really results in something very counterproductive. Because when you register superheroes, right, it inhibits their ability to do anything. You waste paperwork, and in the end, right, what results, right, is in a case whereby Metropolis, right, isn't able, right, to save itself, right, from people like Lex Luthor all the time. So on the second issue, right, that I'd like to discuss today, right. The second issue I'd like to discuss today is that under which paradigm better protects the people. First of all, right, they say the motive of their agenda and the motive of their policy is to help better facilitate communication between superheroes. Like my second speaker have already said, we don't think that this is inherently necessary. No, thank you. Because things such as Justice League already exist. We think there's plenty of communication between Superman and Batman because of things such as Justice League. Yes, sir.
When people use their misplaced sense of self-righteousness to fight above the system, how are we supposed to then expect the system itself to change and to improve in the way that these individuals...
You obviously haven't been listening to Yuhui's speech. We have already told you, right, that their checks and balances already exist in terms of things, like I said before, like the Justice League. Think about it. If Batman, or let's say for example, Green Lantern, no thank you, Green Lantern, think about it. Imagine, right, if Green Lantern would go rogue, right, what do you even plan to accomplish by registering him, you know? They look at it, oh, okay, what's his name again? Sorry, Hal, right? Hal something like that, right? So, okay, his name is Hal, okay, his weakness is what? Sinestro. Okay, that's it. What can the police really do anything about it? In our paradigm, however, no thank you. When you cut the paperwork and all that protocol and bureaucracy, right, surrounding the communication between superheroes, we think that superheroes already act as a check and balance against themselves. No thank you. Think about it. Okay, let's go back to our scenario, right? When Green Lantern goes rogue, who is in the best position to stop Green Lantern? We will say it will be people like Superman, it will be people like Batman who best understand superheroes. No thank you. So, like I've said before, right, our plan, right, is that we don't intend to have all this kind of bureaucratic BS surrounding superheroes, right? We like to cut to the chase because what is intrinsic to superheroes is like a sense of urgency. No, thank you. Think about it. If Lex Luthor would want to unleash an evil army of robots on Metropolis one day, right, we don't think that, you know, there should be all this paperwork that's surrounding. Think about it. No, thank you. Lex Luthor exists in the first place because the government, the state, and the police is unable to stop him. That is exactly why superheroes like Batman exist in Gotham. No, thank you. Because the police that you're advocating for and the police that you think works so well doesn't work in the first place. That is why Batman exists. No, thank you. So we think that under their paradigm, right, you stop them, you stop their ability to, you know, enact their superpowers, and you don't really save anything in the end. So we think in the scenario, right, where they do not cooperate, where superheroes do not cooperate under registry, what they propose and what they think is the best, right, is that they label them as supervillains. What happens is, right, you're diverting even more manpower to go and chase after superheroes who do not want to, no thank you, that do not want to register. And let's think about the, all the motives, right, that why superheroes do not want to register. Let's zoom in on a particular example, Spider-Man. Why do you exactly think that he does not want to register himself or give up his identity? It's not because he wants to continue using his powers so bad, or it's not that because he wants to kill civilians, it's because he wants to protect himself. And by extension, by protecting himself, he's protecting his ability to protect the country. No, thank you. And that is exactly why we think that this dilemma surrounds around superheroes. It is because they simply want to protect themselves, and this kind of information shouldn't be withheld by the government. Now let's think about WikiLeaks for a while. What makes you so sure that this government will protect this information if they cannot even protect information that is regarding their own interests? So for example, if things such as WikiLeaks, no thank you, if things such as WikiLeaks example happen, whereby information regarding their own interests is not being able to be protected and it's not confidential, what makes you think that information regarding the interests of superheroes, a third party, could be protected? We think that in this scenario, government will protect information regarding their own interests first and make it a priority. And by extension, since they cannot even protect this kind of information, we think that they cannot protect superheroes as well. And thus, we believe that superheroes should have a choice of whether they want to withhold the information regarding their identity. Now let's talk about protecting superheroes. Side proposition thinks that just because you register superheroes, just because superheroes register themselves, protection automatically comes to them. We think that this is not true regarding of how this kind of motives even differ in the first place. So for example, they have already told us how, you know, the Gotham PD does not like Batman. And with Batman, right, they simply do not like Batman because they act against them. And he's always going to do so because the police are incapable of helping them in the first place. Batman has a sense of justice, and you're never going to stop him because you simply cannot do what he does. And if in that case, right, it forms like a logical circle, right, whereby, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Shit. Okay, never mind. So Batman is never able to cooperate with the Gotham PD, right? So that's exactly why we think that this cooperation should not exist. And under our paradigm, we best protect the people and we best protect the superheroes.